Good morning. I'm here on morning number 15 with the barn owl sculpture, and I've decided to make a slight design change on it. And in doing so, I've decided, and this is going to be a branch that connects to the owl, and I'm just still trying to work out that design. But what I've decided to do is get the branch as another supporting structure for the owl so that I can go ahead, and then I took out the leg. I don't know if you can see that right there. See if I can illuminate that a little better without getting that light in your eyes. And I put an armature um, uh, wire, a thick wire that I wrapped with small wire so it really holds on, and I embedded it here and here. And also I'm going to be doing that on this side. I took that other leg out. And so what I'll do is I'll make a cut through here, almost better for my initial picture. Here's the bottom part where you can see that cut through. And now I'll have this supporting structure here, up here, a branch, and I'll put some armature wire in that too, because it might not be real thick. And it'll come up above the owl probably, because I kind of like that. I just, and this is the thing, when you start out with a plan, it's great, especially to keep your proportions. Like here's the back view, hasn't been done yet, but you are the artist and you can feel free to change your idea or improve it. And that's oftentimes what happens is you'll be going along and you'll go, oh, it'll look so much cooler if we had a branch coming up above it. And so good morning. Hi, Mark. Hi, Al. Yes, you can add. Al asked, can you add an armature? So yes, you can. Now let me show you what I have done here. So this is something that has happened a lot. So here's my other little piece of, let me see if I can show it to you. There we go. I'll hold it real still. So I took a piece of this armature wire, if you can see that. There we go. And I wrapped it again with other small armature wire, or I don't know if it's armature wire. I bought the thick wire specifically as armature wire, and it's pretty bendable, but it's also very strong. And then what I'm going to do on this side, and I'll take this off to do it, is I'm going to dig a hole, bottom and top, and just really jam it in there, but also I have a snoring dog. Ernie, stop snoring. I'm inside, if you notice that today too, because it got so cold in my garage studio, I moved everything inside. So, I can breathe a sigh of relief. But now I have 2 Boston Terriers, and they're down here snoring as I'm trying to do my live stream. But if I put them out and close the door, they'll scratch at the door. So we'll have to listen to the snoring. But anyway, I'm going to put this embed that in. I'll try to do it right in front of you so you can see how I do it. And I have to measure this leg. So what I did, like on the front view, let me see where my front view is. I got my mess here of pictures. And then I have my big computer, by the way, where I can bring up, that's the advantage of being inside. I can bring up my different pictures of owls and look really closely at them. I'm in Google Images. I typed in barn owl wing, and you can really use a computer to a full advantage if you do that, because now, of course, you're really close up and you can run your videos and stop action where you need help. So here's my front view. And what I did was let's see if I can show this lighting on this. I took out the foot that I had started completely, and I put the little pieces in here. And so then I dug down and I dug up, and I used like a tool like this. Can you see that? That's from Sculpture Depot. You can change these tops, which is great. There's a little Allen wrench spot here and here, and you can change different tops. Let me see if I have that to show you. It's amazing how much you can do when you have the right tools. When you don't have the right tools, what happens is you get frustrated and you give up quickly. Okay, so for this tool, this is really great because there's different tops that you can put with it. And in this set is an Allen wrench. And these are called Glyptic tools, and I found them at sculpturedepot.net. They have wires and they have ribbons. This is the ribbon kind. I'm going to get more of the wire kind because I love the fact that I can change out these tops according to what I need. So right now, I'm sort of using this tool, and I'll take this off now. I just wanted to show you what I'm planning. I'll just take it off because when I put it on correctly, I want to create another wrapped little armature piece. Let's see, where is my armature? Did I put it? Let's see. Oh, I put it back in my main little garage sculpting room, but I'll show you that next week. And I got that on Amazon, just sculpture armature. It's very bendable, but it's very, very strong, and that's great. So you can really utilize it. So like I'll dig away until I stick that in there. I dug away further than I had to both sides, and then I really impacted that in. I used the soft heated clay. I've got my plate warmer behind me, so I have my soft heated clay ready to go. It's very malleable, but not too hot. I've gotten it now where I've put some things under it and it's not so hot it's burning me, which happened before. So anyway, I pushed with using this kind of tool, like a paddle, strong paddle tool, and I pushed the clay, the hot clay in there really to anchor that hard. Same with up the top part, really anchoring it hard. And then when this clay cools, it gets very hard and it really holds it in place. So I'm going to cover that with clay material. Whoops. I'll put my branch back after I make a piece of armature and put it in place. And then I'll have something come above, which won't really need armature. I mean, if it's going to be very thin pieces, I would do it. So I might change my mind on that depending on what the design is that I end up with. But I realize that can go against the back. And here's another thing that Chuck used to teach everyone. And that is, think of your sculpture, even though you've got the advantage of being in the round, think of your sculpture as having a back and a front when you design it. Because here's the deal. At some point, it's going to be displayed, and it's going to be displayed best from a certain angle with the light on it, in a art, like in a gallery or in a museum. You want a view that is like the picture view. That's the view you want people to take pictures from, and the catalog and whatever. So this will be the back, and it makes sense to have the supporting structure here, coming and hitting against that. And then I can really detail out that area that I really did want to have no clay showing through. So just the legs are showing through. So that's what I'm planning to do. And these are the tools I do it with. So I'll get started right now. And what I wanted to do is, of course, check my positioning where I'm putting this. I'm not just going to wing it by looking. Let's see if I can show you that better there. So I'm going to look at my picture, my design, which I drew, and it's subject to change, but this gives me the back and front being equal and proportional. So I'm just going to, I'm noting that that back armature wire has to go, see this tip of this wing, it's got to go right, and this is two legs you're seeing together really, but this is the general positioning. But that little piece of wing lines up with those, so I have to keep note of that, and that's right now down here. So let me check that to make sure I didn't make it too long. I think I'm going to check it against the bigger part of the wing. Yeah, because I may have. No, that's correct. See, if you can see that. So this is lining up with that part of the wing. So I've got to place those legs down here. Now this is not in the right position according to my picture. So I'll move this, but not yet. This is the branch because it's reinforcing the weight. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Al asked about messing up the wing. I won't even touch that wing. I'm just getting the position for the leg. What I have wrong and not matching up with my design is this back piece of what would be wood. But I can put, because wood isn't, you know, you're not depending on the proportions being right where you place your wood. I can remove that position and put it further back. But I'll wait till I have my reinforcing piece on. So, and you know, the more I think about it, the more I think it's smart to put a piece of armature inside my reinforcing piece up here. And at least I know where the armature is. This thing has to be cut up for mold making. And I can say to the mold maker, okay, I've got wire in here and it's all clippable. It's not hard to clip. It's thick, but I can clip it like with that or with this. So it's easy to work with. But, you know, I want as little armature as I need because of the mold making process. I have somebody new on from Russia, but unfortunately I can't answer you. So I'm sorry. Maybe in the comments I can translate your question. But I would be happy to, once this is over and you comment, I will try to answer your question. Clipping. Oh, you mean cutting with these? Like clipping the armature? Like this. Like I have like a spool of it. And so I just clip where I need it and then embed. But I like wrapping it. Let's show that again. I like wrapping it because it really, you know, holds the clay so it doesn't slip down. Like if I have a support piece there, I don't want the clay. And as soon as it gets summertime and I have this on a shelf, I don't want the piece slumping. I want to make sure it really holds on. So it's really easy to work with. I think it's called Richardson, something like that. And I get it on Amazon, this armature wire, but I'm sure you can get it at other sculpture places. So, okay, let me try to, I've got a warm piece of clay in my hand, but I might get some, I have a heat plate over here where I have my clay warming up because this is very hard clay. So I'm going to start, it's going to be hard for you to see. I'm using this tool right there. I'm going to start just carving in under that wing area where we showed the diagrams matching up. Oops. And by the way, I have this sculpture on a piece of parchment paper, and that way I can easily take it off. I mean, yeah, it moves around, but the thing is, it's so great. Oh, okay. Okay. No, it just means clipping the armature. But anyway, the parchment paper, if I had to put a heat gun on it because I take it outside and I want to soften it a little, I can. And if I go to take this off for mold making or I want to put it on a shelf, I have my turntable ready that I can put a new sculpture on. So we have lots and lots of quail here in northern Arizona. And I'm going to do a set of quail next because I'm getting a lot of requests for that. I mentioned it and I had a bunch of people go, oh yes, we want quail. So we'll do quail. Okay, let's get that cut up here. So there's a lot of mass here still stuck to the main base, which is holding this whole thing up. But I would not put my money on that in the summertime. I would definitely want to have some real good support up here and yet give the illusion of the branches coming through. So I keep looking to see what the questions are. My computer's over here taking our live stream. So, all right. The other thing, and I don't have a good view in my guide for this yet, but I'm going to definitely add it. And anybody who got the guide, I'm going to add all these pictures and information. Is the front. The front has a certain, let's see if I can find a picture for you to show you a certain look. Now here's an albino owl. Look how those legs almost look like they're coming out of a shorter center than you would think. So it's very important to look at your pictures, and I'll include a front view once I'm done. But you can see you want to keep those legs inside further than you think. That's what's important, to be right. Okay. Getting that in there. I'm not able to show you where I'm really carving because I have to hold it at a certain angle in order to do it right. Yes, the slumping, Al asks, is the slumping in the center, in the summer, due to the oil-based clay? The oil-based clay, it's like over here, I'm heating it. It'll get very soft when it's heated. Maybe I'll put a shelf up in here and keep it in the air conditioner. That way it won't be a problem. But yeah, even when you use hard oil-based clay, if you're going to store it in the summertime in a place that's hot, like if I put it out in my garage on the shelf, it could get too warm, and it might, like right now, it can hold itself up pretty darn well, but it could, it stays malleable and soft all the time, so it could slump down if you don't have support for it. If you're working and you don't have that piece in and you just want to make sure, just take a piece of clay and jam it in there like that until you come back and work next time, just to make sure it doesn't fall down or slightly slump. But I have another question. Hi, Brandon from Ireland. Mark's asking a question. How the negative space is dealt with casting. Oh, okay, so Mark asks, when you go to cast, how do you deal with these? Like if I cut through the legs and I have these legs as shown in our main design idea, well, molds have to be, first of all, if I'm putting armature in, which I'm doing now, they have to be cut. The legs just have to be separate pieces. So anything that where you have either an undercut, they call them, or negative space is a big undercut, you really have to chop up your piece. This is the reason why we want to try to avoid armature and only put the armature in where it's really necessary to do your design the way you want. And then use armature that's easy to clip out, easy to cut. And in the old days, we used to make sculpture for porcelain. And that was a nightmare because every piece had to draw off in the mold. And so you might have a piece like this. It might require 10 molds, separate molds. And then it all has to be reassembled when it's being put back together. So it was pretty intensive. And that's what started us off as designers in the 1970s. Oh, dating myself. Let's see, any questions? Well, keep the questions coming, and then after the session, like I said, if you want to put questions in the comments, I'll be glad to answer those. All right, so I'm going to cut out a little bit more. I've already cut in pretty deeply here. Oop, there's my alarm. I'm supposed to quit. Well, I will show you what happens tomorrow, and I'll take pictures of this to show you the close-up. In the end of all this barn owl stuff, what I'm going to do is take clips from every day, all the mornings, and just put it together in a 15-minute video so you can see the whole thing from start to finish. So somebody, I guess it was Al, you said you had to binge watch. I don't think so. I think you'll be able to watch my 15-minute video when I'm all done. And then I'm going to move on to the quail, hopefully next week. So I'm going to sign off for now and start to really try to embed that. And it's not in a place where you can see it, but I'll take pictures now so I can give you close-ups. So in the final video, you can see all that. And in the booklet, I'll have those pictures included too. So I'll have to say goodbye today, but I'll see you on Wednesday morning, and let's see how much I can get done. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.